This is an H car, chambered in 30-06.
It's legal if you pass the background check.
Just because you pass that doesn't mean you should have it.
As for what goes in it,
so these are armor-piercing 30-06 rounds, 500 of them. And you can get a gun that just, you put it in, rack it, and it doesn't stop until this is empty. The issue is that there's no training.
As a father,
what stops this from being used against my kid? And that's the problem I have.
That right there is Jon Waldman, who opened a gun store, Georgia Ballistics in Duluth in March 2021, and he is shutting it down, as you saw in that video, because he is worried that the guns that he sells will be used on kids. And there's just been too many shootings recently. There was obviously the Nashville, Tennessee shooting at a Christian school, another shooting at an Atlanta hospital. Those were both cited by Waldman as influences to get him to shut down his gun store. But also some of the behavior that he's actually seen from customers who've come to his store. Take a look at this.
This is an H car, chambered in 30-06.
It's legal if you pass the background check.
Just because you pass that doesn't mean you should have it.
As for what goes in it,
so these are armor-piercing 30-06 rounds, 500 of them. And you can get a gun that just, you put it in, rack it, and it doesn't stop until this is empty. The issue is that there's no training.
As a father,
what stops this from being used against my kid? And that's the problem I have.
Yeah, nothing stops them clearly from being used against kids or, people in bars or sporting events or casinos or churches or whatever. Nothing stops them. Certainly not our government doesn't stop them. He mentioned there, if I can disagree just a little bit with Jon Waldman, who's doing a good thing by pulling out if he doesn't feel comfortable in having this store anymore. He says the problem is there's not training. That is one problem with the gun and the ammo that he just showed. The other problem is that it is available to civilians at all, because I do not suddenly become comfortable with people having, magazine or like belt-fed 100 clips of armor-piercing ammunition just because they're trained for it. There's no reason to have it. There's no self-defense, there's no hunting, there's no target practice that requires that sort of ammunition. That's my position. But other than that, it is interesting. I like that he's shutting down the store now. A lot of people will respond to this. I think, Brett, and I'm curious about your thoughts that, well, in 2001, when he opened up the store, we'd already had a lot of shootings, including in schools at that point. But I like that people can continue to learn and grow. And if we take his story at face value, that appears to be what he's doing. What do you think?
Listen, when I started on this show, today, when the show started, I was of the opinion that assault rifles were necessary for hunting only. And because of that, we should replace our arms with AR-15s and our legs with bazookas. But then this guy pointed out that children are killed in mass shootings with assault weapons. And only now am I coming around to it. Even if that was the case, we should be supportive. I'm yes. Supportive of people who, even if they had the staunchest non-me opinions, when they come around to having opinions that sound as reasonable as this guy, I just go, welcome. Thank you. Great idea. More like you.
I like that. I agree. Jon Waldman, welcome. Thank you. More like you.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.